Good evening, Glitter Gang, and welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and it's 9 o'clock on Thursday, September 21st. Welcome back, everyone, or welcome if you're new. Thank you so much for joining me here. Tonight, we will be crafting live from our December Daily Wallet album, and this is a wallet box album. Basically, we're making individual wallets. You can have as many as you need for your holiday activities, or if you don't want to do a holiday project, whatever you're making your album for. And then we're going to put them all together in a box, and we're going to leave room in the box for other memorabilia. So tonight I have cats with me. So I do have a couple little furry companions, and they did negatively impact my chopping time, but I think we'll be okay here. We don't have too much to chop. Too much. But yeah, they have a little bit of Marcel the shell. Got Marcel, and we got Kitty. That's because I had to. I wasn't planning on letting Marcel in, but sometimes it's like, do I have the energy to wrestle him out of the laundry room right now or not? And the answer is usually not. So Judy says, I've really enjoyed the paper designing. It's taken, it has taken me reads to be sort of proficient. Maybe years. It's taken me years to be sort of proficient. Years. Okay. Yeah, I think it's, Photoshop's probably one of those things. If I was going to take like a community college course or something like that, I'm going to have to cut these with a ruler and a craft knife. For some reason tonight, I'm just having trouble seeing. The corner where my paper trimmer is a little bit darker than the rest of my craft area. I need to figure out how to add a little bit more lighting in that corner without taking up too much space. But, all right. So what we'll do is we'll just do it with the ruler and the knife, because I can always see just fine because it's under the brightest lights in the house. So what we're doing tonight is, earlier this afternoon we did one of our paper designing classes and got all the paper designed for the next project, or for the next wallet. And now we just need to cut it all apart and get going. And like I was telling them, I didn't get it all cut before the show because I had some cats run in that I wasn't planning on. So anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful afternoon and have a great evening ahead of you. But yeah, I think Photoshop is one of those programs that has such a drastically different language from like the way you think about doing things. I know, I remember when I first got Photoshop, I couldn't do anything, and that's because I didn't know what a layer was, you know. So once I learned what a layer was, I was like, oh. And then I learned about adjustment layers and editing layer styles, and there's, I'm sure, much more I could be doing, but, you know, I haven't taken that class yet, so I'm going to move this mouse. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So we had a little lasagna for dinner. That was nice. The muffins are still with us. We made pumpkin cream cheese muffins. So we went from having one type of muffin to having two types of muffins. And then we made a pumpkin loaf, which was way easier than the pumpkin cream cheese muffins. So I think that if we want another pumpkin dessert, we'll probably make a pumpkin loaf. Because we're talking like one bowl mix and done, compared to the muffins had 3 different things. You had to make the pumpkin batter, you had to make the cream cheese batter, and you had to make a streusel. And then the way you assembled them was you put down a tablespoon of pumpkin batter, then a tablespoon of cream cheese batter, then a tablespoon of pumpkin batter. Okay, so with something like this where the colors they're just close enough together that it's not totally easy for me to tell where one ends and the other begins. So I'll just put it on the line on my desk and I'll just line up with it. That's just because there's not enough contrast. So we still have, I would say, about a dozen, 16 blueberry muffins and about the same of pumpkin muffins. And those are currently frozen. So we still have plenty of muffins for when we want them. We've just been thawing out. Mr. Lifeguard and I have only thaw out 2 at a time. When we think it's, oh, it might be nice to have muffins tomorrow. And we're like, yeah, that might be nice to have muffins for breakfast with some bacon or sausage. And then we put 2 on the counter. That's the procedure. So it's been really convenient. Now we are eventually going to run out, but as I said before, we have so much of the fruit left that we can make a ton more muffins before we have to be concerned. And I've talked about how, like, there's something with the humidity in this room. And I don't want to get a dehumidifier, and that's mostly a me thing, but I don't really like dehumidifiers. They're loud and they're gross and they're a hassle. So I'm trying to not get a dehumidifier like machine. But I did see tons of positive reviews for this. Basically like a giant silica gel thing. So it's a bucket and it holds a giant silica gel tab type of thing, and you just dump the water in the bucket, in the sink, and it's not like, it doesn't require power or anything. So I'm going to try that. I'll let you know how it goes, but I'm hoping if I put that in my little corner over here, it'll be enough to where my mat won't be sticky all the time, and my my paper won't feel weird. I don't know how else to describe it, but the texture of the paper is just kind of strange. So I just think there's a much higher moisture content in here than I'm used to and my supplies are used to, and the changes are kind of negative. It's just kind of funny because, you know, coming from Florida, you would think, but that I would be aware, like the humidity would have been a problem before now, but it was not. So it was not. But in both those houses, my craft room was on the second floor, so that could be why. But yeah, people love them, and they sound like they're a lot easier to deal with, because like when it's getting full, I can just walk it inside with me, and the kitchen's right there, and just dump it in the sink, bring it back, no problem. Very easy. So I'm hoping that'll dry out my little corner. So we shall see. Marcel's done exploring on the top of the fridge, and he got down all on his own. So good job, Marcel. So yeah, we still have muffins. We don't have any pumpkin loaf. Pumpkin loaf just totally disappeared. Was gone in no time. It was yummy. It was like a dupe for the Starbucks loaf. But instead of putting seeds on top like they do at Starbucks, in which the recipe called for, we had streusel left over from the pumpkin muffins, and we just put that on top, and it was delightful. Hey, bud. You coming by to say hello? Hello, little Marcel. And goodbye. So he's just roaming. But he hasn't been in here all day, so he was like, come on, guys, let me in. I got him a new toy, which is a little carpet mouse, and he used it so much the first night that when my sister and Mr. Lifeguard got up in the morning, he was just like passed out next to it. Like he fell over trying to chase it. So and he ran down its battery, which is why it wasn't moving. So that's probably the only reason he was resting. All right. Almost done. Well, Marcel loves fish poles the most. He will, you'll be trying to fall asleep and he'll drag one over your body and drop it on your chest. And we wake up a lot and find them in the hallway outside our bedroom all the time. So him taking a night off to play with the fish was much appreciated. But he just has so much energy. He does not get tired of playing. You know, he just goes until he's just physically exhausted and he just shuts down. So I don't know. He is really on a roll all the time, like a little tornado. Okay. Here we go. We got everything. So let's see. All right, we're going to start on the inside here. Let me save that for the end. So the 4x6 mat that's folded on the side is the one that we want. That's what I designed to go in that pocket. Wait, did I make something to go on this thing? Why do I feel like I didn't? Oh, it's this goes there. And this is the liner, but I didn't design anything for this. That's frustrating. But it's not the end of the world. Well, that would explain why I can't find what's supposed to go there. Alright, so we got the Mary, and that's going to be candy canes on the back. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything else. Then this is Nutcracker, then presents, then we're doing candy cane at the top, right? So, yeah, like that. So, okay. Actually, I think it's candy cane presents, this Nutcracker, so that's all there. Plus what goes on the front here, Santa Claus, and then this list goes on the inside. And then this is the other half. This goes on the back. These are the two flaps. All right, so they go there. And then these two are this and this, and this and this. Okay. These 5 things go on the back with this. So, okay, yeah, I just didn't do it. Alrighty, well, okay. So earlier today, if you recall, I arranged that one page so I would have a bunch of extra at the bottom so that I could print something if I had a print emergency, which it appears that I do. So I have how much room to work with? I have 11 3/4 inches. I'm gonna have to just very quickly make something. This is the horizontal thing. So let me just, what a pain. What a pain. Okay, I'm going to switch you over in a second, and we're just going to try and make something super easy. So I'm just going to open the 4x6 stuff first, and we'll just see how we do with that. Okay. Frustration. All right. So of these, I know we've used this. We've used this. We've used this. We've used this. We have not used this. And I don't know. I think we've used this. So this is really the one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 6 1/4. So 6.25 by 4.25 piece. And I'm going to pull, because I'm going to want to make a frame around this. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to grab one of the blues. And I'm actually going to grab the darkest blue and the second darkest blue. And we'll do one of each. One rectangle of each, and then we'll see how we do. Okay. All right, so once we've got those, then we're just going to go back over to this thing, and we'll just drag it onto that piece, and it'll kind of center itself, so we'll get an idea of what it'll look like. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna put the two shapes in front of and behind each other, so we can kind of say which one do I like better. And because it's opposite something that's a soft pink, I think I'm going to go with the lighter blue, even though I do actually think I like the look of the darker blue better. I think it's really sharp, but I just think it's a lot for being opposite something that's such a soft pink. I think it is very bold. Bolder than I'm looking for. And so now when I'm looking for something to go on the back of this, I'm going to kind of gravitate towards, I'm going to open a few of them. The blues. I'm going to open the blues, just so I can see them a little bigger. And, I'm going to close the cards, so because I don't need to look at them. So looking at this or this one's kind of the most obvious. I think would look really solid. This, I don't think so. This more, no, not really, not really. Okay, so the two. All right, so if I was going to narrow down, like say a top 3, it would be 1, 2, 3. But I just think the connection between the poinsettias is just, that makes sense. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to cut a 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 slice off of this. And then I'm going to drag this to the print page because I need a front and a back. And I'm going to space them apart from each other because they are almost identical in color. So it's going to be hard to get rid of them. All right, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to print this and then we'll be good to go. Stick you back to the craft desk and print this real quick, and then we'll cut it real quick and be done. Cha 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 cha. All right, so while that's working, we'll start with the stuff over here. Okay, so let's go. So I surprise decorated my sister's desk with, I bought a bag of crows, and I used black foam tape to stick them to like her monitor and her phone so that her whole desk area was covered with crows. And then the same night that I did that, laid them all out and everything, I was working in here, and I was working in here till like very late. So I let the cats in because if I'm in here after everyone's gone to bed, they just stand outside the door and scream. And they have woken up my sister sometimes. So if I'm going to be in here for any length of time at night, I just let them in. It's just better for everyone, you know. So anyway, so they're in here, and so Marcel, first of all, he started grooming the crows, and then after a while of that, then he started ripping them off their perches I had put them on and bringing them over to me and dropping them by my shoes, because I had my shoes off while I was working, and he just was dropping them by my shoes. So he collected all the crows that I took all the time to put out. So now we have no crows because Marcel is a crow hunter. So he hunted all the crows, and now they're gone. So that was that. And then I read an article today that a bunch of minks escaped in Pennsylvania, and there's a part of Pennsylvania that's just covered in minks. They're just roaming the streets. And I was like, yeah, you're just sitting in the living room. The article I read had the phrase, and they try to break into random houses, which just sounded really funny to me. So I was like, yeah, you're just sitting at home, It's night, watching TV. You look out the window. There's just like 100 mink faces staring at you, casing the joint. So I know he did bring me a present. At least I know he doesn't want me to starve during tough times. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chomp the corners on these because they're going on tags, and then I'll give them the inking. Okay, so now gonna ink these and we'll stick them down to the tags. But yeah, thankfully he'll keep me fed during the apocalypse. There's also this extremely tough looking feral cat that walks through our yard sometimes, and Marcel wants to be friends. And we keep trying to explain to him that that cat will absolutely eat his lunch. Absolutely. There's no way they're becoming friends. You know, but he doesn't get it. I've actually never seen a cat that loves cats as much as Marcel. He just loves cats. So. All right. All right, and so once you put down one side, you want to make sure that you punch your hole again. Okay. All right. And now I'm putting one of my hole reinforcers we made earlier in the project on. And then we just repeat those steps on the other side. Tiny Cat had her vet visit this week, and her blood work is also normal. So she survived. Damien said the entire car ride there, she screamed like she was being murdered. And then as soon as they got to the parking lot, she just gave up and didn't make a sound until they got home. So she was like, well, I'm not getting out of this. I guess I'll just conserve my energy. And what's hilarious is the second she got home, she just went straight up to our bedroom and jumped on the bed next to me and started screaming at the top of her lungs. And it was like 9 something in the morning, and they had the first appointment of the day. Screaming at the top of her lungs and stomping her feet because she needed me to wake up and, like, I don't know, comfort her or something. So that was that. That's how I woke up that day. So and then once we've got this tag done, we're going to put a mat for a 4x4 photo on it. So it'll be a 4 1/4 square mat. All right, so all right, there we go. Yeah, she's had a report. She had to report back on everything she'd been through, and I had to answer for the actions of everyone else involved. So, but yeah, it was really funny. I was like, what the heck? Tiny. All right, I'm going to take 2 of these and trim them down to be square, and then we'll attach those. So as far as this project goes, you can use it for anything. There's nothing about it that is specifically Christmas or specifically holiday or specifically event. So you could use this format for any album that you want it to be just a little bit more interactive. So don't think that you have to use this paper and do everything the same. You can if you want to. The information is provided in the video description. But, you know, you can also just take the measurements and do your own kind of project for whatever kind of photographs you want to keep. All right. All right. And now we go. All right, good. So, I'm ready to stick this down. Okay, dokes. All right. Now, these are both ready to go in the book, so they will join their, oh no, they're the first thing I've done. So they have no one to join. They'll start the pile. All right, so now I need these two. And also 2 of these for the insert that goes in the back. Oh gosh, okay. So yeah, things are finally calming down weather-wise. It's been nice. Yesterday when I went to run to Costco, to pick up a couple things, like eggs half and half, that kind of stuff. And then while I was there, I looked at flannels, and I got a cute flannel because I'm finally think it's a possibility that I live in a place where at certain times of the year it would be actually comfortable to be outside in a flannel, whereas in Florida that is very rare. Very rare. So, but I think I'm just far enough north and just far enough into the hills that I'll get a little touch of winter. So I got a flannel shirt in celebration. So, but yeah, it was only in the 70s. Now it was warm. You wouldn't want a flannel. It didn't feel like fall. There was no crisp breeze or anything like that. But it definitely was like, okay, all right, I can do this. I don't feel like I'm being assaulted by a cosmic body. That the sun personally wishes death upon me in a fiery blast. Which is how it felt not that long ago. So I need to get a new TV show to watch for the fall. We just watched all of a comedy show. And now we're out of episodes. And then we started watching Harlan Coben's Shelter on Amazon, but then it's not finished. So we caught up, and then we decided we'd just wait until it was done. That show is outlandish. It is a thriller mystery, question mark? They are trying to solve something. So I would say it's a thrilling mystery. based on our discussion this afternoon with the parameters of what's the difference between a thriller and a mystery, and we decided that a thriller is we're running for our lives, people are hunting us, the situation is dangerous. Think about like Jason Bourne. taken, things like that. You know, they're trying to solve a mystery. In a sense, Jason Bourne's trying to figure out who he is or whatever. Liam Neeson's trying to find his daughter. But it's mostly about dangerous situations and evading dangerous situations. And you could be in a mystery and there could be no dangerous situations whatsoever. So yeah, I think it's a thrilling mystery. Now, it's about kids, and I didn't realize that it's based on a young adult book series. And the young adult book series has like 20 books in it. And it's a spin-off of an adult series that also has like 20 books in it about, so the adult series about the uncle of the kid in the young adult series. And I actually think the uncle series came first and then the kid series spun off the uncle series, but the uncle is a non-issue in the TV show. And my guess is they only bought the rights to the kid. And that's why the uncle's not in the show. So there's probably more money than they wanted to spend to get both. But it's extremely dramatic. Extremely. This is the most dangerous high school in the world. So I was like, well, thank goodness my high school was nothing like this. I wouldn't have survived. I'm too delicate. So, all right. But yeah, it's about this kid, and he's been a few recent books. Have I read anything good? I'll look at my Goodreads in a second to see if I've read anything that I was like, yeah, that's amazing. I would recommend that wholeheartedly. Yeah, I don't think this has been a very lackluster reading year for me. I have totally bailed on book club. I just, I really way underestimated how much of a life change this was gonna be, y'all. So, way. I'm just trying to look and see if there's one that looks more right side up than the other. A direction. But let's take a look. I feel like I did read something. One thing I've been doing this year is reading the website Book Riot. They put out book recommendations every month based on the signs of the zodiac, which I think is kind of funny and creative. And I have been reading some of those just to see how close they are. Oh, I did read The Bandit Queens by Perini Schroff. That was up for the Women's Prize, and I thought that was fun. It's about this woman, and she lives in a small town, and everyone in the town thinks she murdered her husband. And she lets them think she murdered her husband because it keeps men from bothering her. And so she likes it, she likes it. Just, she's fine with being the resident murderer, the town murderer. Now, she doesn't know what happened to her husband. She did not kill him. She doesn't know what happened to him. She doesn't know if he's dead in a ditch somewhere or if he ran away with another woman or what. She has no idea. So, then this other woman in town, her husband was abusive. She doesn't miss him, and she doesn't want to deal with another man. So, in case he's abusive or whatever. Okay, so now we have this insert that'll go behind those. So now we're working on this. And so basically what happens is This other woman in town wants to get rid of her husband, and so she asks our main character to kill her husband who's abusive, like she killed her husband who's abusive. So that's kind of the inciting incident. And so it's kind of, it's social commentary, but it's also comedic, because it's a bunch of people stuck in these like really bad situations and just making, you know, they have such limited choices, and it's like, yeah, I'm desperate. And so it's a lot of desperate decision making and things like that. It's also largely references some Indian like CSI show that is a real show that has like 10,000 episodes. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that like is it on every day? How did it get that many episodes? So anyway, Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff. Literary, comedic. Gosh, what would literary, comedic, satire. It's kind of a farce. Of course, it deals with serious subject matter, but in an unserious way. I mean, in a serious way too, but like it's mostly, it's just, yeah, it's funny. So that was one thing I read that I did really enjoy. I also read Parini Shroff, Shroff, I think. Parini Shroff. It's the Bandit Queens. I believe there's a the. And then I also read, this I need to, a book by Bali Kaur Jaswal, which you may or may not remember as the author of Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows. And the book she wrote that I read is called Now You See Us. And I enjoyed it much more than Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows. My problem with Erotic Stories from Punjabi Widows is I thought we were trying to tackle too many things all at once, you know? And it was just too much. It was just too many things. So I think it was too broad with a lot of things. But Now You See Us is about women from the Philippines who work in Singapore. And even though it's like one of the wealthiest island like nations in the world or whatever, there's this huge class divide. And it's about that, but it's about a murder mystery, kind of that's affecting the domestic workers. And they're trying to solve it in a country where, you know, their legal standing is very shaky and the language barrier is an issue and all of that. So it's interesting. I had a good time with that one. I finally read the Song of Achilles. I thought it was fine. It didn't blow my mind, but I didn't dislike it. Felt the same way about the Hacienda. Had a good time, but it didn't blow my mind. Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond is an interesting read if you are wondering why we spend all this money fighting poverty and yet poverty only ever seems to get worse. It's kind of about like the systems that prevent us from like kind of really solving these problems. So if you've ever wanted a shorthand, it's not a long book for like, why do the poor stay poor and the rich get richer? Like that Matthew principle. Is there something going on there, you know? So it's about that in America. That's a nonfiction if you're interested. I read The World According to Mr. Rogers. I cried. Those are some of them. I read Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which is a book about a woman who, and this is not a spoiler, it happens in the very beginning, but a woman who is a mediocre, not popular author, right? Okay, so she wrote, or she's not necessarily mediocre in terms of talent, but she's not made money. No one knows who she is. You know, her book is out of print, whatever. You know, she never felt like her publisher put any marketing money behind her book, and that it was really unfair, and da 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 da. Anyway, someone from her MFA cohort is the opposite of that. Basically, blockbuster, best-selling author, popular and critically acclaimed, like Oprah's book club type material, you know? And she was, I don't know, born into wealth. She's never had to struggle ever. Her first book, like, there was an auction for the movie rights before it was even published. Like, that's how The Friend is, okay? The Friend is Chinese American, and the main character is white. And so this matters because she's over at her friend's house, and her friend types all her manuscripts on an old-fashioned typewriter. And so she doesn't have electronic copies of anything that she writes. So she's over at her friend's house, and the two of them they get drunk, and then they're eating pancakes, and the rich friend, the reason they're getting drunk is they're celebrating the rich friend is, who's like critically acclaimed, etc., is just sold another film right or something like that. And she mentions while they're celebrating that she's finished her book, which is about how during World War I, the British, I want to say, either the British or the French, some European country, got a lot of laborers from China to, you know, I don't know, like dig trenches and stuff, to do manual labor, literally. And so they were very involved in World War I. And it's just not known because, you know, that the history hasn't been well recorded in the West and that sort of thing. And I did actually recently read a book which is about that, which is At Night All Blood is Black, I want to say, which is about people from French colonies in Africa who were conscripted to work and fight in the trenches in World War I as well. So there were a lot of people from all around the world involved in World War I, not just like Europeans, okay? So anyway, so the book is about that. So while they're sitting there talking, the rich friend chokes on pancakes, and the main character tries to do the Heimlich, and she can't, and the friend instantly dies. And I found out you cannot Heimlich people who are choking on pancakes. Apparently that is a real thing. If you choke on pancakes, you're probably going to die. Okay, so be very careful when you're eating pancakes. Don't eat them drunk. Don't be irresponsible like the people in this book. So she decides, our main character, that she's going to steal the book and publish it herself. Because no one's seen the manuscript, because she doesn't show the manuscript to anyone, and she only types it on a typewriter. And so then it's about the fallout from that. Why? It's because it's like sticky, I guess. The air can't push it out. But yeah, it's just pancakes won't come out. I don't know if there's other foods like that or if it's just pancakes, but it is true. So it's a real thing. So I was like, cool, that's a new fear unlocked. Death by IHOP. Anyway, so that's kind of a very strange, weird book, because the main character, you're like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? But then you also kind of want her to get away with it because she's written so well that, like, when she's explaining why she has to do things the way she has to do them, you're kind of like, I mean, you kind of, like, not that, she's like, you know how sometimes villains in movies have a point, and you're like, okay, I see your point, but you're still, mass murder is not the way to do it. You know, this is kind of like that, where you're like, I get, your grievances are real. you are blaming the wrong people and doing the wrong actions. This book is called Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang. So, Melanie, I'm so sorry to hear that. That was how, basically what they said about the pancakes, like cement. Yes. Maybe it's this combination of like really soft carbs and like something sticky like syrup or peanut butter. But yeah, apparently there are some Heimlich resistant foods, which I did not know until I read this book. So, all right. So now that we've got all these pieces, we start laying them down. There's also in Yellowface a lot of kind of inside baseball about how publishing works or doesn't work. So if you have any interest in the book publishing industry, it also gives you a little peek behind that curtain. All right. Wow, that was very brave of her. Okay, so I'm going to slap this on the back really quickly. She must be a really impressive lady. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put the back of our envelope on the back of our thing here. And then this needs to be cut like 2 inches off this side and 2 inches off this side, like we did before. And so, anyway, that book is interesting. What else? Have I read anything really? All right, so just need to ink this inside and then add another little bit of tape here. So yeah, so that's Yellowface. That one's kind of wild and crazy. Like, you'll know pretty quickly if you are gonna get into it, I guess I would say, because the main character will either be too much and you can't stand her and you won't want to be in her head, or you'll just be along for the ride. I know I told you all I read Will Smith's memoir with Mark Manson. I also read Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. I don't think I'm gonna read a ton of the Greek myth retellings that are so popular. But I do think Atalanta was pretty good. But I think it may be because I just didn't know much about that myth. So I kind of went in as a blank slate. And I read The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, which is about a bookstore that gets haunted. If you like messy memoirs, the Will Smith memoir is for you. But if you really like Will Smith and you want to keep liking Will Smith, the Will Smith memoir may not be for you. I was like, whoa, okay. It is, I don't think I would have shared all these things, I guess is what I'm saying. If I was writing my, like, dramatic, yeah. Dramatic, people mad and fighting all the time. And the memoir ends before the slap, but like the person who wrote the memoir definitely seems like someone who would slap someone on stage. It's so hard to explain. Will Smith's had a lot of challenges to overcome in his life. I have a lot of sympathy for him. I think it's cool how honest he was in his memoir about things, but some of it has impacted how I see him, I guess, which is fine, you know, like no one's perfect, but it's more therapy is needed. More therapy is needed for lots of people. So all right, so we're gonna do magnets now. You're gonna try and read the Vanderbilts by Anderson Cooper. I want to read the book about, is it J.P. Morgan, his librarian? It's called The Librarian. That I want to read that as far as like a historical thing. I legitimately cannot find my magnets. It's totally, I don't know if I'm just overlooking them or, oh, they're stuck to something. Okay. Yeah, he's Gloria's grandson, right? I think that's where he is in the family. All right, so, oh, her son. Okay. So, at some point I'll probably get around to reading Spare. That's a book that like blew up really quickly and then immediately fell off, and I didn't hear much about it after the first little while. All right, so this one I'm going to chomp the top corner. All right. All right, so then we're going to put this magnet on. Just wanted to know which side I need to put the dot on. So I'm not interested in oh gosh, what to say. how to say this. I think it's weird. Monarchies, weird that we still have any. So, you know, and they can say things like, well, they're just, you know, there to serve the people and they're just public figureheads and they don't really have any power. That's not true. That's not true that they don't have power, you know? So, like, it's not the case. They have tons of money, if nothing else. And they have tons of love and respect. So, I just I don't like it. I don't like it, Marcel. I don't like it. But, you know, I would be interested in knowing, I guess, because I think it harms the people in it as well. Oh, like, I don't also think it's totally neutral and they have all this power. Like, I think that, you know, they get all this money, they have all this money and this power, but they have, like, major human rights violations, especially in regards to privacy in the monarchy. So I think it harms the people in it. I think it harms the people it's purported to serve. I think it benefits a very, very few rich people. And yeah, I think it's weird. I think it's weird. Hi. Hi, buddy. Oh, he's so sleepy and tired, friends. He wants to be in bed. He wants to know where his nighttime lap is. So. But anyway, yeah. I don't have to like it because, you know, it's not really my problem exactly. But I am interested in it being critiqued from within, I guess I will say. Now, do I think that it's going to be critiqued a lot? I don't. But, you know, we shall see. But anyway, so yeah, those are a few of my more recent reads that were pretty decent. But yeah, the Will Smith memoir is wild. It's wild. And I will just give him full praise for how honest he was. So, because, you know, he could have just kept the, you know, uglier stuff private. Maybe he should have. You could even argue, but it definitely didn't feel fake. It definitely didn't feel fake. All right, so there we go. All right, so we've got that. We just need to add our last little tab there, but you can totally tell that it says Santa Claus Reindeer Lane. North Pole is the part that got mangled the most, but I still think you could probably, from context clues, figure out that it's North Pole. All right. Okay, so all the inserts for the right side are now done. So we'll go ahead and start sticking them down. So this is the smallest one. And I'm not gonna put tape across the bottom. So I'm just gonna put it on the top and the two sides. So I'm gonna do them one at a time because when I do them in a chain, I forget. Yeah, there you go, Ella. That's the way to go because then you don't have to deal with the fallout. You can just be as honest as you want and then be like, bye. See you never, consequences. Yeah, put everything in your book, name names, and then just be like, bye. Smart. That's smart. Now, for those of you who like Blake Crouch, I just saw on Amazon that he's written a vampire book, which seems like a real departure from what he has been writing. So I'm kind of curious about it. I just don't think I would love a vampire book, but maybe. I think it's called Dracula's. Like, as in multiple Draculas. And the reason I think I might not be vampires is I did read a book about it was written in like the 70s, but it was published recently because it was just translated recently into English. Hi, kitties. Welcome back, buddy. Welcome back. Yeah. Aw. He's giving y'all so many drive-bys. So many Marcel drive-bys. Marcel's like, can we be done, please? Can we please be done? Hey. Oh, thank you. Thank you for kisses. Thank you. He also stepped down on right here, and so he glued the corner of this down as I was sticking it in. You did do that, didn't you, Marcel? Because you're a little twerp sometimes. So I'm just going to kind of crush it so that it is good enough, because I don't want to pull it out and stick it back down again. Hi. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's too long. It's too long. I need more attention than this. Look at his little thrashing tail coming in and out of the corner here as he thrashes it back and forth. He's sitting in a drawer that I left open. Here, I'll pull it out more for you, sir. There you go. It wasn't out far enough for him to really get comfortable, so. Oh, hello, welcome back. You don't like sitting in drawers? Okay. Okay. You've made your point. You've made your point. This is what Kitty's supposed to look like. This is what Kitty's bird's eye view should be. We'll get there, Kitty. Who are you hunting, Marcel? Who are you hunting? Huh? He had to go into timeout yesterday because he bothered Tiny Cat so much. All right, we got it done. Yeah. So we have all the inserts for this side done, plus the paper is layered. So we got that all done. So now we're going to go over here and grab these two. And maybe, since these are a little bit darker, I can see them well enough. Yeah, I think I can just cut these very quickly. Anyway, so I read a Dracula book this year, and so that's why I think I'm not, like, in a vampire mood. But anyway, the book was about the voyage from Transylvania to London. And if you've never read Dracula, the book, or basically he eats everyone on the voyage, obviously, because he gets hungry, you know, and it kind of gets captured as a ghost ship. And so someone actually put out a movie about that called The Voyage of the Demeter. And the trailer looked super bad. It looked so bad. So I didn't get tickets, and it did bomb. So. And now there's a writer's strike. So. Hopefully. You're not supposed to compare your children. It's her goal. Her goal. All right. So then. All right, now that we've got these, we can cut them apart and ink them and make our final folder. So, Exactly. There's a skinny cat inside her, and she's never getting free. She's never getting out of the box. The vet wasn't concerned, so, because she's otherwise healthy. I mean, obviously, it's better if she loses the weight, and her chances of staying healthy are higher if she does get to a more healthy weight. But she's as of now, she's still doing great. So. Surprisingly, Tiny Cat came back totally normal as well. And we were all very suspicious because Tiny Cat is one of the weirdest cats around. Okay. Marcel's knocking stuff over. So let me just quickly see what's up. And then we'll put 2 landscape photos in here. Actually, let me just stick them down with ATG real quick. I don't need to tape these. Tiny is unique. All cats are. She's just more unique than... Yeah. Yeah, I'm just getting orange cats from now on. I just want a bunch of idiots running around. I heard they're just very lovable and not I think not too smart. I think Tiny's problem is she's too smart. You know, she's meant to be like a witch's familiar, and we just constantly disappoint her. Yeah, I just want a bunch of lovable doofuses. So, anyways, but we'll see. So, looking forward to even cooler weather, but I think we're going to finally finish the shed this weekend, the shed / pantry thing, because I think this weekend or maybe next weekend is, I feel it. I feel like it's going to be soon. That it's going to be nice enough weather to do it. To drag all our stuff across the yard and get it all organized in the shed. Thankfully, the shed is ventilated, so at least it exhausts some of the heat and it doesn't totally build up in there. But yeah, talking about book series that go for a long time, just to circle back to that, because Ella made a comment about how, you know, after a while with really long book series, she does just lose interest. And yeah, I have never, the longest book series that I think I'm going to complete is, I have been working on, and since like 2005, by the way, so, you know, I'm going to just, now that we finished the insides of this, so we've got, this is going to go in here, and then this is going to go back here, and then these are going to go in here, and then this is going to go in here. Okay, so that's how that's going to look on the inside there. So we've got the inside done. We have half an hour left, so I think we can get it wrapped up, because we've done the most work is on the inside. The outside's a little bit easier. So I'm going to do a recording break here, and then we'll do the outside. We'll go until the outside is done, and then we will be in good shape. So, okay. So I'm just going to remove all these, because it's going to be easier to do the back if everything is flat. So I'm just going to remove them and set them to the side. So I'm just going to set them right here. And so to do the back, we need one vertical 4x6, and that's it. And that's it. Okay. And then for the front, we need this. Somewhere we need the strap is here. And then all of our pattern paper is right here. All right, so I'll be back to do the back. All right, so I'll be right back. So those of you who are watching live, just hang tight. Nothing's going to change for you. If you're watching this in the archive, just go ahead and click to see the rest of the class, the next video. If you're watching in the YouTube playlist, check the playlist for the next video. If it's not there, just wait a day or two and it'll show up. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for, oh, look what Marcel brought me. Hit the bell icon for notifications to find out when I go live. Usually it's 2 p.m. Eastern USA time and 9 p.m. Eastern USA time on Thursdays. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, life, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.